Okay. People say I'm a no good, crazy as a loon. I get drunk in the morning and get strong in the afternoon. I kinda like my old blue big dog and wanna lay around in the shade. I don't got much money, but I damn sure got it made, and I ain't asking nobody for nothing. I can't get it all on my own, yeah. And if you don't like the way I'm living, just leave this long-haired country boy alone. Preacher man talking on the TV, he's putting down rock and roll. Wants me to send a donation, said he's worried about my soul. Jesus walked on the water, and I do believe that's true. But sometimes I think that old preacher man could try to do a little walking too, 'cause I ain't asking nobody for nothing. I can't get it all on my own, yeah. And if you don't like the way I'm living, just leave this long-haired SoCal boy alone. Here's the way it really goes. You know, the rich boy goes to college and the poor boy goes to work. Poor girl wants to marry and the rich girl wanna flirt. Drunkard wants another drink of wine and the politician wants your vote. I don't want much of nothing at all, but I might take another token. I ain't asking nobody for nothing. I can't get it all on my own. If you don't like the way I'm living, just leave this long-haired country boy alone. Something like that.
Yeah.
That's Charlie Daniels band right there.
Mark, welcome to Let It Ride, man.
How you doing, guys? Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Stoked to have you, man.
Pumped.
Super pumped that you're here.
So just a short introduction here. You're a talented musician, guitar player. You're a member of the San Diego Music Hall of Fame, and you are a long hair.
I'm a long hair.
So we're going to ask you kind of how you started getting into the long hair lifestyle. But unlike most musicians and long hairs, you were born with no arms. And you have made really a name for yourself for being a talented musician, playing your guitar with your feet and doing many other things with your feet. But just tell us a little bit about your musical career and how you started getting into it and what kind of introduced you to the music scene.
You know, I just connected with it as a kid. My parents had it, one of those buy 5 records, get another 5 for a penny kind of like clearinghouse. I forget there was a Columbia or whatever. There was this thing. So we had all these great records. It'd be like the equivalent of a parent today, you know, of some young kids having like the most modern music. Yeah. So really my parents were cool. They were hipsters when I was growing up. And we had, you know, at the time, Paul McCartney and, and the Beatles and Zeppelin. And we had just all the records. And my dad showed me how to use his record player. I had unlimited access to it as long as I didn't scratch them when I put them back. And I put the little thing in the 45s to keep them from spinning around, you know, like I knew how to use a record player by like 6. And, you know, it just affected me. And I told my parents I wanted to play music, and they started me on the trombone. They thought that would be sort of, as my dad would say, a foot-friendly instrument. Okay. You know, you just slide it around.
Yeah.
Which I wish I would have stuck with it, because I had no idea ska was going to come out 20 years later. But I canned it.
90s, right? Ska was huge. Yeah.
But I canned the trombone because I wasn't meeting any chicks with that, and I wasn't playing Stairway to Heaven on that. So, you know, just guitar music just found me, I think, you know. And I got to say, my dad brought home, he was a construction worker, he brought home a 4-string hippie guitar with like flowers on it. It said Flower Power on it. It was something he found on a job site, like buried. Yeah. So my first guitar was like this relic from the 70s with like rusted strings. And I had a neighbor moved in, long-haired guy, a couple years older, and he had a guitar on one day. I said, hey, will you tune my guitar? And he showed me how to play Godzilla on my guitar. So by Blue Oyster Cult was the first. Godzilla. Actually, no, I showed him how to play it, and then he showed me how to play it properly with bar chords. He was the first friend of mine that said, you know, it's cool that you can play one string at a time, but if you want to be a guitarist, you got to make your toes do 3 or 4 strings at a time.
Yeah.
So my buddy Darren Phillips, another long hair,
Predictably.
horse riding, ranch running, long-haired rocker, taught me how to. Took the time to show me how to do bar chords with my toes. Yeah, then it was on. Then he just had me play rhythms for hours while he tried to play leads. That's what you did in the '80s. Like if you could do, you know, if you could do that, somebody would go do that for 20 minutes while I try to learn a lead solo.
Right. Then you're in.
Okay.
So you started developing the dexterity with your toes. I mean, I can't play guitar regardless with my fingers or really any part of my body. But you'd already been using your feet and your toes for a lot of other things as you've been growing up. And you must have really developed the dexterity to work the strings, and then as you advance with the different bar and everything.
Yep. Yeah, I was lucky enough that my parents were kind of clever in the sense that they bought me things like Lincoln Logs and Tinker Toys and things that required some dexterity. So I think I'm getting a Christmas present, which is a lot of fun, but it was also some sort of like occupational therapy, physical therapy. You know, like my parents were clever like that. Like they bought me puzzles and stuff where I'd have to kind of develop my dexterity. So, yeah, I did. I used my feet naturally. My parents let me. I had prosthetics that were given to me as a child, but they just were clumsy and awkward and robotic, and they didn't feel natural. So I always, you know, I was told to learn to use them in case I wanted to.
Yeah.
But after my couple hours every day of like working with them, I couldn't wait to ditch them and just go back to who I was.
Okay.
Yeah. They
Get
were
rid of these
when
things.
you're missing your limbs from above the elbow, like they're not even today. They're not real practical. They're kind of they kind of stationary, and you kind of bump things with them. And so I just felt better just being who I was made to be. Really using my feet was my natural inclination as a baby.
Right.
Nice. So from there, after you were playing guitar, you wanted to get a little bit more into music. I think in one of the interviews that I saw from you previously, you started around 8 or 9 years old, but you got a little bit more serious as a teenager, or maybe 12 years old.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Was that the first band that you got into, or how did it kind of progress from there?
You know, again, having a neighbor that could actually play and was teaching me to play rhythm so he could try to be a lead player, I ended up with bass as well sometimes.
Okay.
You know, I was doing martial arts, and I kept spraining toes and hurting toes. And so about 16 years old, I asked my mother. My mother got me guitar lessons, and the first lesson, actually that's another story. My second lesson, my guitar teacher said, you know, you might want to pick between martial arts or guitar because you keep, you know,
Busting your
toes. You're not going to be able to use your toes as well. And so I did kind of shift away from martial arts into full-blown rock and roll. And the idea that I could make people feel the way I felt when I listened to music that I really liked, like when that hit me, like it was like a real revelation for me. I'm like, you know, if I could play like that, people are going to like dig, are going to feel it the way I feel it. Like that was my real connection to my social peer group. Really was like, I was already a smack talker.
Okay.
You know, and a smart ass, but to play music and sort of lead people on an emotional journey was like, once that hit me that I could do that, like I pretty much was off and running. Like I spent so many hours practicing my guitar. So my buddy Darren Phillips showed me a couple chords, and I would then I realized I could listen to my favorite music, use these bar chords that he showed me, and figure out my own stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So how about with learning guitar? I mean, I know, you know, your hands can bleed and you could get blisters and everything. So before you had those calluses, what was kind of that like? If you were practicing for hours, I'm sure your toes were getting
That's an
ate
interesting
up.
question. I actually got to dodge the bullet on the whole callus thing because I was barefoot from probably age 8 till the beginning of
So
high
you already
school.
had some thickness.
Skateboarded everywhere I could. They didn't have the slip-on croc kind of stuff back then. You had to wear tied-on shoes, which I couldn't get out of fast enough.
Yeah.
Or you know, thongs, we call them flip-flops.
Right.
And you couldn't skateboard in those. And I skateboarded everywhere I went, so I just went barefoot.
Yeah.
24 hours a day, winter, all the time. Skateboarded to school every day. School tried to make me wear shoes. My mom fought with them. They said they gave in.
Yeah.
So really, my feet were already pretty much like a hobbit when I started playing guitar, so I could
That's
outplay
exactly
most
what I
of
was
my
just
friends.
thinking.
Yeah.
The Hobbit.
Yeah, Yeah, that was an iron foot, definitely, man. I was never a tenderfoot. So I really didn't feel much with the calluses.
Nice.
Okay.
Yep.
So
I
is
could
that-
outplay most of my friends. They'd shake their hand and, ow, you know.
Yeah.
What are you,
Yeah.
baby?
Come on, dude. What's wrong? Now, how about the hair then? Did that come along with the music or was it separate? When did you start growing your hair out and why? Or what was the story behind that?
It's a little rated R. I had 2 little brothers, and we had a babysitter who was just a couple years older than me that would babysit my little brothers on the weekends so I could go out and have fun. So I didn't have to stay home and watch the little brothers. And she started flirting with me. She was probably 17. I was like 15. And she's like, you look just like Leif Garrett. Or who's the other one? Peter Frampton.
Okay.
You know, and you know, and I had kind of curly hair. And like I'm like, wow. She's like digging me because of my hair. So I started fighting for that, but I also looked up. I was a wannabe Native American. I loved Indians. I had posters of Sitting Bull up in my house, and I just to me every from Jesus to Sitting Bull. I all of my heroes had long hair.
Okay. Yeah.
And then of course my rock musician heroes all had long hair. So my identity was tied to that, and I had to really fight for it because my mother would want it cut above the collar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to me, having it below the collar was really the difference between having long hair or not, you know?
Right.
That's kind of the line.
Yeah, that was the line. So, I argued with him. I deliberately didn't come home after school on days I knew I had to go get a haircut. Like, I really fought for it from the time I can remember, like 11, 12 years old. I'm like, no, I want my long hair. I don't know what got in me about it. It was, then it became a source of this is who I am, and you're not going to take it away from me in my rebellious teenage years. You know, like, this is my image. And it's, so girls.
Is that when it started? Like your mom started going for it and stuff? Was it the teenage years? Or
She kind of gave up when I
Okay.
would like ditch my hair appointments, or I'd go and I'd kind of talk to the haircut lady and be like, listen, just do me a favor, just keep it a little, like I was really
negotiating?
I was negotiating and getting sly about anything I could to keep my long hair, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Absolutely. The biggest struggle for me was I did telethons. I was like a poster child for some charities like the March of Dimes and the Variety Club. And the producer of that show, when I became 12, 13, started really grinding me to cut my hair because of the image of a fundraising, sort of handicapped kid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I'm a rocker, and but it wasn't making the donations come in. They wanted me to be sort of a who's a modern day good boy. I mean, I'm older than you. Wally Cleaver, Greg Brady. They wanted me to be sort of a clean cut kid, and I would come back from these telethons and run with my long haired friends, and I'd have a short haircut. And I fought producers, parents, teachers, everybody I could to keep my long hair. Actually, it was a constant fight of mine between probably 12 and 18 when I told them I'll do whatever I want with my hair.
Keeping it long.
Yep. Had a boss tell me that if I cut my hair, I'd be eligible for advancement, and I refused the advancement. I said, well, if I can't counsel kids as a long hair, then I guess I'm going to stay at the $5.50 an hour that I'm making now.
Man, that's unreal. We're talking 30, 40, this is like 70s, early 80s neighborhood.
Yep.
And even still, we get kids writing us in all the time who are facing the same things, or even at school. Is probably the more common scenario is that there's now a policy at school that you're not allowed to have long hair. Some of the kids have even been barred from school, or they have to be in kind of independent segregation unless they.
Whoa.
So this
Really?
Yeah, and I mean we're talking decades later, and still there is that stigma or this kind of desire to have the clean cut image for the young boys. And that's something we advocate against.
I don't like
Absolutely.
the idea that somebody would place my moral integrity on the length of my hair. Like,
know. Well,
do you know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
there's creeps with short hair too.
Yeah.
Lots of them.
Probably more.
You would
Probably more.
You would think kind of where we're at now in society and how much different everything is, and there's all this big push for so many different areas in culture and society for equality.
Yes.
That this is even still like you would think this would be one that would have got knocked out like years and years and years ago. Like, why is this one hanging on? Like, why are schools still having a haircut policy and stuff? actually, success story, high school kid we had on our podcast who grew his hair out well, first he was having a lot of problems at his school. And we brought him onto the show and talked to him about it and coached him up a little bit and gave him some advice. He went back to the school. He kind of wrote like a petition and everything. He got the rule changed at the high school. He just wrote us a couple of days or last week saying like, hey guys, they've like changed the official rule and everything. And it was all because of him. And that's really, really awesome. But
Cole Taylor, shout out.
Cole,
Way to go,
it
man.
Sounds like peer counseling is a big part of your guys' company and niche as well. Like people are coming to you for help. Like, help me save my long hair, dude.
Well, man, we do focus on the little guys too. We have a whole series of blog posts that are all about like young kids, like 5th grade and under, who've had issues at their schools, and and their moms are fighting for them and everything. We've talked to a lot of moms, so it's absolutely part of our community and what we need to push for. And to me, it goes back to like in this age where just equality, just in general across society, it's like such a big thing to have equal rights for everybody and all this stuff, that this kind of little issue compared to some of the bigger ones out there is even still an issue.
When I was growing up, having a tattoo, now I could go to my bank and see a skull on the wrist of one of the nice ladies helping me with my bank. But
Totally.
Would have never been like that. Would have never been like that.
Keep
The
fighting the
70s,
good
80s.
fight. I'm mad now.
Yeah.
So they're still discriminating in a way, and they're still making school policies about guys having long hair. Yet you can have a dagger on your face and work at a bank.
Exactly.
What's up with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I
think
know.
the tattoos and the long hair were, I think, in the same category for a long time. We're a little bit younger, obviously, but I do remember even when I was under 10 years old, that was like my grandparents or folks or whoever, parents and friends, the tattoo was like, oh no, don't ever get tattoos. Like that's don't ever get a tattoo.
Stay away from those kids that have the tattoos and the long hair, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
You're right. Wow, I'm really impressed with that. That's why I'm glad to be here today, because my long hair represented who I was and who I wanted to be seen as, and to follow my heroes. You look at say Braveheart, okay, the actual story of William Wallace. I mean, the Scots they didn't cut their hair, and the British did, and they all wore wigs, and and they fought to the death. Now, obviously, they had some political objectives besides their long hair back then.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe they had some other.
I don't even think hair was in the conversation.
No, but it does represent a freedom and a sense to say this is who I am, and you can't judge me based on what you look at first. And as a man who grew up with no arms, I have to say that. I mean, I could walk into a job interview or a class, and a teacher may, with honest intention, say, well, can you write? And what am I, and I would think, well, you don't really know me, so thank you for asking. And let me tell you, wouldn't it be the same thing with my long hair? If I come in and say, are you a thief or a druggie or a hitman or a barbarian? Yes, I'm a barbarian, but I'm none of the other things.
Yeah.
And why don't you judge me on the content of my character?
Yes, dude. That's exactly what we say. I mean, that's exactly what we advocate for. I can't remember what I was just going to ask, but it was something really funny. Oh, no. It wasn't funny. Last time we were talking, on the other side of the coin, it also isn't like, rebellion. It doesn't mean like we, down to short hairs or anything like that. It's not like we look down or that it needs to be like that far on the other end of the spectrum. It's just, hey, that's where I'm at. That's where I want to be. That's how I want to look and be perceived. And you were telling me you felt very much the same way.
Yeah, I've got nothing against your short hair. I mean, that's okay. Less maintenance. I mean, if you're too lazy to have long hair, no,
Must be nice.
Hey, that's real. That's a real thing. Let's be honest. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. I agree with that. I advocate my right to be and look like who I am, and I support everybody else's right too. You want to have a half of long hair and half short hair or blue hair, or whenever I see somebody with something radical, I always applaud them. But that's not to say there's not a radical person in every conservative-looking person as well. We have to be fair about that. That's right. I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think the reason it's because it's so easy to cut hair off, and it's just looked at as like just a maintenance thing or like a grooming thing. I think maybe that's why it's still a topic like especially in the school. I feel like businesses have moved away though from that. I mean, you've seen a lot more guys in professional positions having long hair.
I think parents too. More parents are letting their kids. Maybe it may be a little bit more here in San Diego or Southern California, but I would argue that everywhere, even the moms and the parents who write us in, a lot more parents are more open to it. I think employers are more open to it.
Right.
Some reason the schools are late in the game to adopt this. Well, starting with Cole, who's already been instrumental in having his school change their policy. Hopefully we can share his story with others, and other kids will have the same opportunity to make some change. It's really incredible. And I mean, he wrote out a whole thing in a proposal change and
took it very professional approach, very serious, not just like rebelling against the man kind of thing. It's like, hey, they want to play, they want to have their rule. I'm gonna write a new rule and I'm gonna propose it, and I'm gonna make the board vote on it.
Yep. Bring it up to the table. Bring it to the board. So we have this Friday coming up the San Diego Music Hall of Fame's second induction ceremony. We're going to be there. You are going to be there. You're going to be performing. But just last year at the inaugural San Diego Music Hall of Fame, you were inducted in the first class. Can you tell us what that was like and what your experience was like?
To get to play at the first ever anything that says Music Hall of Fame on it.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome. Jason Mraz was inducted the same year, and a cover I played for many years is Peaceful Easy Feeling, which was actually not originally written by the Eagles. They covered it. And so you guys are going to probably have to edit. Actually, I can't remember his name. It's Mr. Siegel. Yes. Oops. Yeah. Don't put that in there. I don't remember his name, but the song "Peaceful Easy Feeling" by the Eagles, I got to play that in lieu of the individual who wrote the song being there. So I got to play with Jefferson J, the founder and MC of the San Diego Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Music Hall of Fame.
Yep.
So I was one of the first guys inducted, and it felt really good. I had a full house, and man, it just felt good. It was my hometown. I got almost choked up sentimentally because San Diego filming me, playing at Balboa Park and my street performing and things really is the reason why I got to do international work, was because of the amount of views that I had from people who filmed me here locally. So to get to say thank you to my hometown for making me international at a local San Diego, awards show was like, you guys, thank you. And it got a little teary, man. I didn't cry. But some of the people in the front that had seen me at Balboa Park for 20 years or whatever were like, yeah, we meant for you to be here, you know, and we support you.
That's great.
It was pretty, for a big city like we are, it was pretty intimate to look at San Diego and just thanks for helping me get where I got.
Yeah.
I feel the same way being able to play and honor the new inductees, like for the second annual. I'm looking forward to saying, hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of my world. Some of the inductees are people I've seen play before I was nominated for a music award. I mean, some of these guys are, big fans of mine. I'm big fans of theirs. Robin Hinkle, I took many a date to listen to Robin Hinkle. He's a pretty good crooner, man. You bring a girl to listen to Robin Hinkle, you kind of come home with her fawning on you if you sing it all.
Things are going good. True. It's a good move.
Thanks, Robin.
Yeah. Well, for one thing, you mentioned just anything with the name Hall of Fame in it is an honor. But San Diego, having a pretty rich musical history and heritage. For one thing, it's surprising that there has not been a San Diego Music Hall of Fame up until a couple of years ago with such a rich heritage, being in the inaugural class, and also just, having the respect and appreciation, just recognition of your peers and folks who you have been a fan of over the years.
Correct.
And all the listeners, and just this kind of local grassroots that ultimately led to you being able to travel and go on tour and have a successful musical career. I mean, it starts local, right?
That's right, in my own backyard. Just people that would just stop and take a clip of me and put it on their Facebook. And one little gal got me 11 million views for not a very good version of Drift Away by Give Me the Beat Boys, and that was my first like viral video. And that little gal actually came walking. She was from Ireland, actually speaking locally, but she came walking through Balboa Park with her parents, and they were supposed to go to Disneyland that day, but they decided to post up to skip one of their park days to come find me. So as this little gal from Ireland's listening to me, her parents go, you ought to thank her. I said, well, for what? She goes, well, she's the one who really pumped your video and got it up to 11 million views. And so they actually took a special trip from Disney, instead of Disneyland one day to find me at Balboa Park. Thank God I was there. And why am I telling this bragging story? But it was not the greatest performance, but it was authentic, it was organic, and it was just me just playing guitar, singing for my supper. And somebody found that, and it hit me not long after that. San Diego became kind of like a Hollywood used to be in the 80s, or the Sunset Strip, or like people started coming here from all over thinking if we can just play at Lestat's, or we can just play at the Brick by Brick, we're going to make it. So a lot of people started coming here like they did the old Haight-Ashbury days. Like San Diego kind of got on the map as a music city.
Totally.
And Jefferson J, I have to say, he finds a niche, and he finds a way to continue to breathe life into the San Diego music scene. And having discovered that there was no San Diego Music Hall of Fame and starting the first one, I mean, I give him credit, because I think there's going to be a long line of national, international artists that get inducted into here in San Diego. We put out some ass kicking musicians out of here.
Yeah,
in this town.
totally. And I love
Can
how
I say ass kicking on your thing?
yeah,
absolutely
totally.
can.
Yeah. I really appreciate too Jefferson's approach of inducting just a small group every year too. I mean, it's going to give this thing life there's so many people that you could choose from, but taking 5 in every year makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
To really keep it going. I mean, every year it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So
I hope it gets Frank Zappa one day. Frank Zappa's from La Jolla.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's
There's
got to
some
be in
big.
there. 100%.
So of course, a lot of people think Jefferson J is Frank Zappa, but sorry, Jeff.
I don't want to ruin it, but can you tell us what you're going to perform on Friday, or what your kind of setup is going to be like, or do you have to keep that under wraps until then?
I don't want to keep it under wraps. I think to have a little more music to make it a little bigger, I might bring a backup guitar so I can play all my chops. The song I wrote is called "We Are the Same." And I wrote it here in San Diego at Balboa Park, street performing, and it's kind of my trademark song. It made it onto a Discovery Channel special I did, and then it was used in a couple of commercials. It's the one song I got a royalty over like $16 for.
Nice.
And it's called "We Are the Same," and I'm gonna play that. It's one of my proudest songs, and it's a song I haven't gotten sick of playing yet, because the message still resonates with me. It speaks to the separation between people based on sometimes appearance, whether it's hair or disability or weight or color, or there's or creed. There's that separation that exists between people, and I think people cheat themselves when they come to a preconceived stereotype or an idea of an individual they meet, and they place that separation based on their own fear or their own whatever inadequacies themselves. And so I really watched this transpire with two people whose worlds were so far apart that they couldn't really make eye contact, and that they almost ran into each other because they were trying so hard to ignore each other. And so I wrote this song, and it actually took off, and I believe Jefferson J asked me to play "We Are the Same" there, and I'm looking forward to it. I want to really drive it home to the audience, see if I can't get them emotional, or at least feeling it, and get them sort of in a very open space to appreciate and ingest what the other artists are going to be putting up on for the rest of the show. So I'm hoping that my song helps people open their mind and receive another's message without fear and prejudice. I think that's
love it, man.
It's a little political for a song, but
no, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. Hearing it the other night, I heard you play it the other night, and it did touch me. So I'm excited to see you.
Thank
up
you.
there on the big stage.
Yeah. I'm gonna do a good production of it. I think this time I'm gonna try to get some of the other instrumentation that it's got. I recorded it on my album. So it's got, bells and whistles on it. So I want to try to get some more of the I think I'm going to try to use another guitar player on there. I'll probably headlock Jefferson and make him play it with me.
Nice.
2 days before the
Nice.
show, so I can
Yeah.
freak him out, which seems to be my favorite thing to do now.
And so, wait, speaking of the album, I would like to talk a little bit about the series you did. Bigfoot Needs a Hand.
Big Toe Needs a
Big Toe Needs a Hand.
Actually, I think it's Dedos Largos.
Yeah.
Yep. El Dedo Gordo.
Dedo Gordo.
Quick backstory. Your band's name was known as Big Toe, but you have kind of come to be known as Big Toe. As you may know, we have our kind of monikers, El Rubio, El Moreno, and others. And so we wanted to bestow upon you an official long hairs moniker, and just taking the big toe in Spanish would be El Dedo Gordo.
El Dedo Gordo. I love it.
And that's a pretty damn good nickname, I have to
I
say.
accept
Great.
it with pride.
Yes. Awesome. Wear it like a badge.
I will. Big Toe wasn't something I picked. It was the name of my band, and these veterans benefits, these benefit concerts I would play at, people didn't really know when they go, hey, there goes Big Toe. So it kind of became,
Yeah.
it put on me. So I'm gonna take El Dedo Gordo.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
It almost sounds tougher
Especially
than
if
Big
you say
Toe.
it like that, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you got to say it.
Wait, okay, so going back to the album, you put this series together. It's on YouTube, right? If you just type in Google, Big Toe Needs a Hand, it
Correct.
will come up. Awesome 4-part series.
Yes.
And it's you going on an adventure through Europe to meet people and find inspiration and answers for your album, right?
Correct. Yes. I wrote my We Are the Same was on my first EP, which I did some time ago, and it's a little bit old. It's still relevant, and it's never officially been released. It was in stores here locally for a while, and then it's been sold online. But it was an EP with only 6 songs, and I wanted to finish the album with where I was now.
Okay.
And so I was flown to England to spend a full day with 5 of their top 10 artists, people like Izzy Bazoo and some of the bigger artists there. They were in the top 5. So I got to walk around with them and find out how they crossed that bridge from early inspiration to being pop stars. Mm-hmm. And some of their troubles that they had along. One of them was a winner of Britain's Got Talent, or The Voice. She won The Voice in England, but got tied up in a shelving contract and couldn't make an album for 5 years. So I got to kind of get into the ugly underbelly of the music business from some pop stars that really had to fight their way through it. And it really sort of sent me back home to America with a new attitude about the music business. Not a vengeful sort of defensive one, but to really watch myself and protect my integrity as an artist, which all the folks that I worked with in England had done.
Yeah.
Please watch it. It's old, but you'll get to watch me tipping a guy down in the London underground and him kind of looking at his coin and looking at me like, oh, all right. So there's some pretty good footage in there of me trying to make my way through London with a guitar on my back. So I had a great time doing that. And Big Toe Needs a Hand was my last really good work that I did, and I'm really proud of it. And so check it out.
Yeah.
And check out the artists that I got to interview, because they were kind enough to share their stories with me in their own backyards.
Yeah. It's beautifully shot, and I haven't seen all the episodes, but I can't wait to finish the series, and stoked on that. So, guys, definitely go and check that one out. Speaking of just being in Europe, I mean, have you done other world travel and got to go, play in any other parts of the world? How's that been?
Absolutely. Yep. Done Holland for an award show 3 times. Got to bring my kids there, and done England. I did the commercial there for the 2016 Paralympics. It was called "We Are the Superhumans," and I got to play the role.
That's another one you can find on YouTube. So
Yes,
you gotta watch that one.
We Are
Awesome.
the Superhumans. And that I was cast as the rock and roll lead guitarist, but I actually, unbeknownst to me, ended up recording all my own tracks at Abbey Road Studios. So that was kind of cool. So when you hear the lead solo on the "We Are the Superhumans" commercial for the 2016 Paralympics, that was actually my lead solo. And Yeah, they wardrobed me to look like a rock star with a scarf and all. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
A lot of hard work. Then I was also in the Ripley's Believe It or Not, I believe 100th edition of their hardcover book. So it was pretty interesting buying some $3 milk and some imitation Crocs at Walmart when somebody came up to me with a book. And next thing I knew, I was surrounded at my local Walmart because I was in this Ripley's book. But I went and promoted that a year or so ago on the morning shows around the East. And so I'm in the 100th 100th issue of their yearly book. So
Killer.
those are my cool Ripley's Believe It or Not. I don't know. It was pretty awesome. Yeah. I'm playing locally still. I've been on tour a lot. I was in Turkey not long ago, and the day that we showed up to go to Turkey, we found out that all visas to Turkey had been canceled, and had we not printed ours 24 hours earlier or later, we wouldn't have got to go. So we really went. I brought my band Big Toe to Turkey right when political tensions began to arise between our nation and theirs, and so
Kind of just in time.
just in time, yeah, I came back, and it was pretty interesting. I never went anywhere in Turkey without our guide,
Okay. Yeah.
a political science officer, 10 feet away from us. Every time I tried to slip away to just go look at things or something, we always had somebody with us. So it was interesting. I will say the people of Turkey were wonderful. They treated us wonderfully. I have nothing to say about the people or the government of Turkey, but it was there were political tensions, I guess, between our governments, and it was kind of interesting as an artist because we were there to entertain people and to give people inspiration, and doesn't matter what they're wearing or what nationality they were. I think the language of music was clear.
Yeah.
And so
That's great.
God bless Turkey. I'm sorry you guys are having a hard time with our guy. I'm not going to touch it. I hope you all work it out. It's like watching your parents get in an argument. You just kind of go in your room and shut the door. That's where I'm at with that.
Try to stay out of it.
Try to stay out of it.
What's maybe your favorite place that you've played or performed? Favorite country, or even in the U.S. or a venue, whatever it may be?
You know, up until I played with Mana, which is another story. They're probably as big as the band U2 is in Europe and America, and they're enormously popular in all the Latin American world. They've had a string of #1 hits for 20 years. They invited me. I went to Spain to play on a show called El Ombiguero, which means the anthill, and it's like a candid camera, and they used me as a prank with some fake arms to act like I was going to give a guitar demonstration. I was billed as Mark Johnson, former guitarist for Bon Jovi. And they shipped these serious music, high school age and up music students in on a bus for this workshop to listen to Bon Jovi's guitars. And I had a guy come up, and I had these artificial arms on that looked very real. And I picked a volunteer to come up and pull on my wrist to show how strong my wrist was. The arms flew off.
Yeah.
I did get I got some negative press. A lot of my fans and stuff were going, "That's horrible. Those Americans just exploited." I go, "Actually, it was the Spanish that came up with this idea." But some people thought it was in poor taste. I thought it was funny as hell.
Yeah.
I think the guy that pulled my arm off thought it was funny after he got out of therapy.
Yeah.
But that show, I performed a song called Vivir Sin Aire, which is written by a band, like I said, about as big as the Eagles or U2.
Wow.
In all of Mexico and all the Latin American world, South America. So they saw that and asked me to come on tour with them. And in 2016 and 17, I got to play Madison Square Garden twice, the LA Forum 4 times.
Way.
I was with
So
Mana
rad.
when they broke the Rolling Stones record for any one rock band that had sold out the LA Forum. Rolling
Really?
Stones 13, Mana 14, and I was there that
way.
night. So I met some rock stars that have toured the world and showed me the world, showed me what it was like to play an arena every night,
Yeah.
and
And what is that like? What is it like being on stage in an arena with 10, 15,000 people? Just
The biggest one was a festival called Pal Norte, and which is in Monterrey, Mexico, and it was the last day was the Killers, the Offspring, the Offspring, and headliner Maná. So I closed a 70,000
Oh my God,
person festival.
70K.
My only regret about that show was I had told them a month ago I was trying to learn some more of their songs, and they hit me up at their biggest festival of their tour and said, "What else do you want to play with us?" And I hadn't quite been confident enough with my electric guitar work to join them. So he was kind of disappointed. Their lead singer Fer, he's like, "Really? Okay, all right. Well, we'll just do the same one we've been doing."
Okay.
But to play in front of that big of a crowd was amazing. And what I learned from Maná was that the rock stars that have endured in this, and I'm going to say beyond music, athletes, anybody who's made it in their professional entertainment or media careers, had to learn to be human and had to learn to be ungodlike and had to learn to be humble. And I watched these guys work so hard for their fans every night. Mm-hmm. It was unbelievable to watch them. One of my first shows, and I have to tell this quick story. The lead singer, Fer, you got a picture. He's like Bono, Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
Anywhere he
Massive,
goes, he's
huge
known
celebrity.
anywhere that people speak Spanish.
Okay.
You don't ever go to a wedding in Mexico or Spain or South America without hearing a Maná song. I mean, they're huge. He's got his wireless microphone in one hand, his leather pants on. He's walking to the stage through the backstage hallway. He passes a woman who obviously works for him. She's carrying boxes of paperwork.
Okay.
She looks in her 30s or 40s, a little small. He's a big, tall rock star. Without saying a word, he takes the boxes out of her hand, walks them to the end of the hallway, passes them off to the production office. Basically, then he takes 3 steps on stage, throws his hands up in the air, and 50,000 people start screaming. His last act before being worshipped by an audience was to carry some boxes for an old lady that worked for him. It could have been their laundry orders. It could have been their lunch orders. But when it was all said and done, I watched a touring band. The truckers would say, "You were better last night, Big Toe." The truck drivers out in the parking lot with their rigs running, ready to move the gear would go, "Yeah, you were good, but last night you were better. You're a little cheap." I watched this traveling army of people that support each other in their jobs, from the truck drivers to the lead singer.
Yeah.
There was a sense of camaraderie, and I've heard of artists that won't speak to their crew. They won't let their, not Maná. These were guys that had become world famous by staying with a good work ethic and putting their audience first.
Yeah.
I'd watch them sign autographs. I knew they were beat tired. I'd seen them there at 6 in the evening for sound check, and now it's 1 in the morning, and they're signing autographs and they're just staying and staying. So my favorite gig was not Madison Square Garden. There were some sound problems. I made some mistakes. So my first night at Madison Square Garden was a little scary. But
was it like as far as what like you're feeling in the gut, like
actually the guitar player let me do his sound check so he could go off with Paul Reed Smith, the maker of some of the finest guitars in the world. So he wanted to go to dinner with one of his guitar sponsors, and he asked me if I could sound check his guitar, which was the biggest honor I'd ever been given in music, ever. And that night, his guitar didn't work, only mine. So we had this guitar solo thing that we did where it was really, he was kind of carrying me on the chords, and I was just doing the licks. And he's looking over, it's on YouTube. He's looking over at the sound guy like, "Dude," and he's looking at me like, "You checked my guitar, right?" I'm sorry. It was terrible. We pulled it off. We got through it. And he even told me that, and he goes, "Mark, my friend, for our show tonight, Madison Square Garden, have to be perfect."
Crusher.
They didn't can me from the tour. They brought me the next night back, and we did it again. So that's what I mean. Like, everybody's so like, "Oh, you got to be a rock star." And, it's hard work, and the people that make it in this business are people that learn how to be human first. And guess what? They all had long hair. Every one of them.
Can never be above your fans.
You can never be above your fans. And Maná's kept their long hair since they started in the early 90s, too, and they did their MTV hit with Shakira, and they did one with Santana. And I'm like, here we are in 2016, 17, right? We still got our long hair.
Badass. This is badass.
Thanit for letting me share. I'm sure you have to edit a lot of that. But, to get
that's a
none
great
of that.
story.
That's awesome.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was pretty interesting to come back. And, really quick, my first night playing was at the San Diego State, the arena.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what it is now.
It used to be the football stadium, I think, but it's a big like amphitheater outdoor.
Not the
right?
outdoor one. We were in the indoor one.
Oh,
where
okay,
Bon Jovi
okay.
played last.
Oh, all right, yeah, yeah.
Jam and yeah. I don't remember the name of it. Doesn't matter. It's the big arena.
Viejas.
On campus. Yeah, I think it's Viejas.
Viejas
Arena.
Arena, yeah, yeah.
Yes, it was. They didn't want to let me in the parking lot.
There,
Russ.
come a little closer to the mic. We're losing you there.
They didn't
Sorry.
want to let me in. I pulled
Yeah.
in with my, my girlfriend at the time, and I think one of my kids, and the cops like, get that car out of here. I had my CRV, my Honda CRV, and I'm trying to get in there. I'm like, you don't understand. I'm on the bill. I'm playing tonight. I'm playing with the band. I don't give a blankety blank who you are. Get that car out of here. I had to pull off to the side and call their manager, and their manager came out with our VIP backstage passes. And God bless the police, but this guy was a jerk, wouldn't listen to a word I said. So I see him backstage now. Now they're moving the red ropes every time I come in and out. And he's standing there, and I won't look at him. I finally gave him eye contact. He goes, well, I just want to tell you, I'm protecting you now as much as I was protecting the band from you before I knew who you were. And I'm like, that's pretty fair, I guess. All right, fair enough. But I think it was interesting to see, I pull in a crappy car. They wouldn't even let me in the parking lot. I had to prove that I was on the bill that night. So.
At least you know he's serious about his job, right?
He didn't apologize, but I gave him a look like, because listen, I argued with him in front. I had my mother in the car.
Oh, man. When
And
someone
he's
shuts you
yelling
down,
and telling me, beat it,
when someone won't even listen to what you have to say, that to me is, even in that situation where he probably is dealing with lots of people and has to have a pretty protective, pretty cautious in that point. But if someone just won't even let you speak, that's kind of beyond security. It could be disrespectful. I don't know. Hard to say if you're not in the person's shoes, but you got to at least hear somebody out.
Wouldn't hear a word.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I don't care who you are. What's that in Almost Famous? You're not on the list.
You're not on the list.
That happened actually to a few of my friends that joined Sammy Hagar's band when they were first in there. They would go out to go listen to the opening band and couldn't get backstage. That was you, Mona and Dave.
So I got a question, but it's kind of getting a little outside of music. Where are you going?
This is a music
Okay.
still.
No, it's still.
So we talked about Jefferson J, and I just want to bring up his project that we are also helping him with, The Hunt for the Holiday Spirit, which is a show that he has created and written, where the first show of its kind, where all of the characters, all of the performers are folks with special needs. You are pretty familiar with this project and what Jefferson's got going on. Tell us a little bit more. Have you worked with him much on this? Are you very familiar with it? Will you be involved with it? What's your take on this whole project that he's working on?
Jefferson J. I first of all, yes, I'm happy to join in this project. We've been kind of busy, both of us, in our separate careers, but I back Jefferson J. on this because he understands from the core that people with disabilities are people with disabilities. Mm-hmm. They're not defined by it. You can't get four guys that use wheelchairs in a room and think they're all going to just be buddies. We're people. We're individuals first. Mm-hmm. So the language of people first language, it's not armless Mark. It's Mark has no arms. I mean, I don't care if they call me that, and my friends have. If there's 3 or 4 Marks in the room, it's an armless Mark. But the reality is Jefferson, I think, understands the individuals with disabilities, and he's very close to that cause of helping them find their niche as individuals, whether they be artists or scientists or whatever. People first really makes a lot of sense because I'm the only long-haired guy I know who was born without arms. There may be in a few, but I'm not seeing them anywhere. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of who I am. Where we may have an individual that's got nothing to do with music or long hair that was born without arms, and we might get together and go, well, we know what it's like to chop a steak with our toes with a knife. But other than that, you're from another world than me. And I think Jefferson gets that. I think he wants to harness people's individuality by overcoming their different challenges and things like that. And I support him completely with this. There's the Challenged Athletes Foundation we have here that's kind of working that niche. But when it comes to the arts and performing arts, I think Jefferson's leading the charge on this one. And he's got my support for sure. I'll carry the banner.
Yeah.
I might have to hold it like that or one foot, but I'll run behind him with the banner,
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah.
Hop.
It's inspiring stuff. We're so pumped to, help in any way that we possibly can, and we really, really want to see this thing become a reality, and just can't support the guy enough on it.
He's got a lot of ideas. He's got more projects and ideas,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of people who have ideas, but really taking the idea and making it real and taking it to the finish line, whether it's the San Diego Music Hall of Fame, which did not exist. I can't imagine what kind of energy went into creating that and how much, that took. And then this show is
And he sold it out.
And sold it out.
Yeah.
And now is doing the
even
second
making
annual.
the decision of what artists you put in the first annual one, when you're looking at a list of 250 candidates.
So many barriers.
How many people are going to judge you based on who you pick to go in there
and be pissed, or like, oh, you didn't pick this guy. Like, just that one selection process could have taken the whole thing down potentially. But here we are. We got the second annual induction ceremony is coming up, and that project has been taken to fruition. No doubt, the Hunt for the Holiday Spirit, another extraordinary project, is going to come to fruition. We're happy to be supporting that. Hopefully we can link up with you in our efforts there and other projects. He's a heck of a guy. Don't really know many people like him.
We're a heck of a city, and you guys are a heck of a group, because I see you really just getting into the fabric of supporting San Diego's different populations that you're kind of showing that long hairs don't just charge with a battle axe. Sometimes we come around with some hair for a kid. I mean, that's
man.
right.
Totally. Love
Yes,
that.
dude, absolutely.
But we will charge with a battle axe
Yes,
if
as
asked.
needed. As needed.
Totally, man. We're really honored just to live in this city, to be here, to be part of it. The more we get involved with other organizations and networking and working with other creatives and other talent and stuff, it just it really goes to show like how special San Diego is, And there's a lot of industries here that are kind of like low key, and then there's obviously some ones that we're super well known for, music being one. But we're just blessed to be a part of it, and we're just, we're going to keep working the community from San Diego outward.
I hear the word inspiration and stuff like that, but I have to say, that the long hairs is inspirational to me. I kind of felt like I was banging my own drum, and when you find out there's a company, an organization, a philanthropic organization at times, that's really kind of understanding the individual and being proponents of our rights to be individual and to be accepted as individuals. It really speaks very close to my heart with other issues of diversity, whether it be disability or things like that. We're saying, don't judge us by the fact that I'm using my feet or that I have long hair. And I think that's where Jefferson and his Hunt for the Holiday Season is really, it's the same message. And I think it's great to see that we're, this city is cranking out some heroes.
Yeah.
And you guys included. I couldn't wait to be a part of your organization.
Man.
I just want some of that cool oil in my hair because it gets a little frizzy when I'm out at the beach. You know what I mean?
We're going to juice you up, man.
Yeah, man.
So you've been saying. I'm
We're
ready.
stoked to have you. We're stoked. One thing I do want to ask, and you just kind of mentioned it earlier when you were talking about Jefferson and the Hunt for the Holiday Spirit and the people, just a different variety of people with disabilities that are coming in. One of our good friends, he's a little person, and I don't know exactly what if your disability has a name or is it something that's common, but is there a community like around your disability? I mean, if there is another kid who's a long hair listening to this, like, I don't know. I'm just wondering. 'Cause like for our experience, there's like the Little People of America and stuff like that. So like
there's not a lot of people born without arms. Now there's a lot of coalitions, for people who've lost limbs, amputations,
military or
and I've
elsewhere.
worked with I've done presentations in a comedy music routine for the Wounded Warriors more than once.
Okay.
And I've got to go into the hospital rehab centers where people that came back from Afghanistan or Iraq missing limbs, and I'm the first guy they see, and they always want to salute me. And I go, look, no, I haven't been in combat. I don't deserve a salute. I did get my butt kicked by my ex-girlfriend really bad, so I have a little PTSD, but nothing like you guys. So right out the gate, I'm telling them, you know, I didn't have to lose anything, but I was able to explain that they still can live a full life, regardless of a missing limb. But I don't think there's a whole lot of we are the people born armless societies in the world. I'm a member of a group called the Can Do Musos, which is a group of musicians with different varying disabilities from all over the world. So there's that.
Very cool.
There's another couple of people I know that played guitar with their feet. One before me, Tony Melendez, and he played for the Pope in the 80s. And then there's a guy that I think he toted me as one of his influences. He's younger than me. He got to open for the Goo Goo Dolls. His name is George Dennehy. So there's a handful of us guitar players that play with our feet. There's another guy down in South America that's so good I don't want to mention his name. He could probably play Eruption better than Eddie Van Halen with his toes.
Wow.
So I'm going to do my best not to step on his toes when I meet him because he's really, really good. Now, but for the most part, you know, I've been a part of the San Diego Access Center. I've helped with some of their events to celebrate the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, which is not just a chance to get sued. A lot of businesses are very scared of that. The ADA is a language of providing equal opportunity for folks and not necessarily making you put an elevator in your house or anything. So I've been involved in many disability organizations, but as far as there being a club of guys, you know, maybe I'll start one.
Well, it sounds like you, with the guitar players, maybe, I don't know if they all don't have arms or something, but they're just playing with their toes. I mean, that's a little community right there that, I mean, geez.
It is, but we have different styles and we're from different parts of the country and we've never really gotten together and said, let's start a band because, you know, I don't know. It's, you know, it's very interesting. I think I'm going to continue to just support any agency that has diversity and equality in mind, and because I don't think there's enough of us. I think people born without arms is like 1 in 250,000.
Okay, wow.
So we're pretty few. We'd be a pretty small army. Asking everybody to arm me. Right. That was lame. I'm not using that one again.
Yeah, good effort.
It was lame.
Solid. The no texting and driving was.
That was.
Well, I don't mean to take the reins here, but you know, dealing with long hair, like there's a couple spots now that I'm getting older, I can't really reach very well. I started getting a dreadlock. So when if I start looking into good products for men with long hair, I'm going to be really excited. Like, I don't think you guys realize you had me day one. Like, I'm ready for your commercials and your walkathons and your marches and all that stuff because, you know. Having a site dedicated to or a company dedicated to people with long hair, like there's some needs I have when it comes to my own long-haired presentation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So one thing we often talk about here on this podcast with every single guest that we bring on is, you know, long hair is awesome. It's great to rock it out and just rep it hard, but also sometimes it could be a real pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So for you, what are some of your long hair problems? Like just the top two you can tell us.
Well, I'm a little bit follically challenged on top. I'm thinning. I'm not bald on top, but I've got the a little thin on top, so some coverage on that. There was a commercial not long ago showing a '70s guy in a leisure suit with a bald head and long hair, and I'm like, that can never be me. So being a POH, prisoner of hat, is a look for help on that. Being in San Diego, driving with my window down, playing at the beach, having property in the desert, I get super dry ends and they get split.
Okay, yeah.
I have a hard time giving myself a ponytail. I can get one foot back there, but I can't get them both back there to do the ponytail. So some like hairband where I could actually get it out of my face myself would be really amazing. Yeah, that's not got flowers on. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Guys, if you want to wear your wife's flowered headband, that's fine. I'd like to have something every now and then that shows sort of my Native American feeling, my rocker feeling, my California feeling. Yeah. I don't always want to borrow a girlfriend's hair tie or headband. So
love it.
Something that made me look kind of tough and
well, we know about that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
oh, you're good.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, boys.
Good to be hanging.
Yeah.
That's clear. Yeah, thank you.
Good to be hanging here. Thank you. Bond Beauty, repping Susie Bond.
You know, if this goes well enough, maybe I'll pick up some kind of a foot pedicure sponsor after this too. Man, I could be dialed in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been an issue for me to keep my hair like always how I want to present it. Sometimes it's just kind of shaggy. Like when I went to Mexico to do a telethon last year, they wanted me to get a trim. They're like, yeah, your hair's a little thrashed, but I just got off a plane.
Yeah.
But I'd like to be able to sport my long hair presentable to any situation.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's what it's about.
Kick ass. Well, we all have our share of long hair problems, that's for sure. I think all of us
No shortage.
it doesn't always look as nice as we would like it, so you're not alone with that one. But hey, we talked about it earlier. I would love to juice you up with a little bit of get your little hairstyle going with some of our hair serum and a couple of other products.
I'm in.
Would you mind if I took a crack at it?
I was hoping you guys would fix my hair, actually.
All right, man. Awesome. Well, I'm going to
Now
come
we
right
can-
behind you here, and I'm going to try my best. And we got a head wrap here, one of our long hairs head wraps that we picked out. This is the GI Snow. It's a little white and gray and black camo. And we'll use a couple of these other products here and see what we could do to
Yeah,
get you
they
dialed in,
smell
man.
good too. It smells kind of like wood shop or
Yeah,
I'm in
yeah.
the forest or something, man.
Like
I
you're
like
bathing
it.
in sawdust, if you will.
Yeah, you guys need to do any readjustments over there. We could
So
still
you
be.
take a break or you keep
No,
talking?
no,
Okay,
let's
all
keep
right.
going. I think we could keep talking.
Cool.
While he's
here.
going through.
Oh, that's not even bad, man. You're gonna-
Calm down.
El Rubio is
Move the
expecting
light.
a lot worse. What? Just full bald up top?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to expect, you know? He's got the prisoner of hat going on. So,
POH, love
Yeah,
I'm
show
gonna
me
put
how
the
to
head
use
wrap all the way down around your neck so I can lift it up afterwards.
Okay.
So it'll
All
start
right.
out.
So for everybody watching here and listening, we have the GI Snow head wrap going on. It's going down below the neck here. El Rubio is working the flow here.
Sponsorship is the key to everything, man. I'm gonna look good.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, we're going to use
We
a
got-
little bit of the Sunset Citrus. You smelled the wood shop last
Okay.
time, which is really nice. This has got a little bit different scent.
Mm-hmm.
But smell that.
It's tough too. It's got a tough. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah?
It's not.
It's not a feminine fragrance.
It's not a feminine fragrance. It's tough. I like it.
So, we don't use a whole lot, but I'm just going to use a couple of drops there.
Okay.
And this is going to go really just in the ends of your hair. So I'm
About
gonna
as
go-
much as a dime in your fingers, maybe.
Yep.
Yep, yep. There we go. He's working it in the hair there.
just into the tips.
Yeah.
This is going to make it super easy to comb out. I don't have curly hair, of course, so it's a little bit different.
So Mark, how often do you get like a trim, or do you get the ends cut or the split ends dealt with?
I do, and I did at my my booking agent Mark Goldman's request when I went to Mexico City to play a telethon.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people have been telling me I should just cut it high and tight and accept the thinning and just go with a super short haircut.
Okay.
And I was considering that until I met El Rubio. I knew that. I was getting I was really about to give up the long hair until I found you guys.
Oh,
like
no
this
way.
is
Okay,
this is kind
great.
of my.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm going to pull it off for a little while
Yeah.
longer, and if I do
Dude,
cut it, it's going
great.
to your good cause.
Okay.
Going to the kids and the wigs.
Love it, love it.
This is my favorite
Um,
comb here.
Okay.
It's a synthetic bone. They don't really make them out of real bone anymore, or they shouldn't because it kills animals and everything. But this is just glides through the hair, and with the hair serum, it should just.
Is
I'm
that
not
one of your
gonna
products?
Can
I get the
It's
comb?
actually a sample that we've been working on. We've had some priority into getting some other products done first. Combs and brushes are coming.
someday?
So
Okay.
probably 2020.
But you
2020.
found the
it's
right
already
match.
looking good. It's already looking good. Okay, going back to your thinning and the little bit of balding up there. We have a philosophy here, okay?
Okay.
It's called respect the comb over, okay? Guys who, if you have to do a little comb over up there, it's fine. Actually, what we would advocate for, even if that goes full bald up in that front area, just keep letting that long.
Are you
thick
serious?
ride? Yo, yeah, baby. We have a picture. I'll show you when we're done here. We have a photo of a guy we saw in Colorado rocking it so hard, like just full bald up top.
I don't want
Shiny,
that. Oh,
but
man.
just long and clean and looking great everywhere else. So I mean, you got to work with what you got. It's it just kind of goes back to the.
A comb over really. There's a way. Like one person tried to cut my hair for America's Got Talent audition, and this lady said, "Don't wear a hat." And she tried to make me some volume up there.
Okay.
By like scooting, not comb over, but like scooting some of the back hair up a little
like
bit, and
fluffing it up. Yeah.
yeah, there are ways around it. But see, I always liked headbands.
Yeah.
And if I could cover between my eyebrows and maybe the top of my forehead, I might
Yeah.
could pull it off.
Yeah. No. Totally. Well, we're gonna see right now. We're gonna get that
gonna
headband
find
up
out.
on there.
All right, so I've got a little hair serum in there.
All right.
If you could feel like
It's
the
looking
tangle
good,
just
guys.
really came out.
It's looking
I can
nice.
tell.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna go with the paint splatters.
Okay.
These are one of our brand new collections of hair ties for guys.
I like it.
These are pretty radical.
Yeah.
We'll get you going with a pack of these,
Okay.
or whatever collection you like for that matter. I'm gonna do a ponytail, or as we like to call it here, a men's tail,
All right.
and then I'm gonna lift the head wrap up after that.
Okay.
When I'm gonna wear with a head wrap, if I'm wearing a hat, I'll do it tied way down as far as it'll go. Like
Might
way
have had a
down
little
here
camera
low.
Okay,
So
okay.
I
issue
can
there
still
for
put
a
the hat
second,
on,
boys, but
when I'm doing a
we're
head
back.
wrap, I'll do it just an inch or two up, just a little bit higher.
I don't
So
mind
that's
that.
what I'm gonna do in this instance.
That's the samurai warrior look.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm down, and I don't want to wear a hat out of here today, man. I want to feel my forehead hit
Yeah.
the breeze for a change.
Get that wind feel. That's great.
If I can even look 1/10 as cool as dude back here, I'll be happy.
It's going good so far, but let's hang in there. I always try to get all the little flyaways. My hair's straighter too, though, so it's a little bit easier to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna pull. Tell me if it's getting too tight.
Not for me, man. Feels like it's all in there. I don't like the
again,
little
I'm
flyaways.
gonna bring the camera on over to the side here so we can get a little better shot. Let me kick over there. Oh yeah, look at this. There we go. Whoa.
Can't watch out the ears,
Dude,
man.
this is gonna be
Yeah.
so sick.
Is it gonna look cool?
Dude, this is badass. We got the logo facing out.
Yeah.
Really, the colors pop in your hair too. So I'll kind of grab both ends to tighten it down a little bit, like
Cool.
this.
Yeah. I know
You
that
feel
one.
it cinching a little bit.
I can. It
And,
feels
Alright.
clean,
Yeah.
tight.
Now what I'm gonna take. This is another product that we're working on. It's not done yet, but this is sea salt spray,
Cool.
and you kind of
The old sea salt spray,
Smell it.
folks.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like the beach.
It's actually real Pacific Ocean water right there, scooped out from the Pacific.
Uh-huh.
and this is just gonna help with keeping those little flyaways.
So
Check.
you know how a hairspray really kind of holds things down tight and it's kind of almost sticky and crunchy?
Yes.
This is, a great substitute for hairspray. It's going to give you hold. It's going to give you some ability to move and texturize the hair and give it
okay.
some, let it, or it will do what you want, but it's not going to be all hard and crunchy like hairspray does.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, this is good, man.
Yeah.
All right, so we got it all dialed. Now I'm gonna pull the head wrap up, and I pull from the top edge. And I'm
Okay.
gonna pull that, especially how you want it to be a little bit covered up here.
Yeah, covered.
And
There
then
we
I
go.
may, depending on how far it goes up, I may fold the underneath up. But let's just burn those bridges when we come to them.
Yeah. You got a nice wide range here with the head wrap, so you can get that full coverage from eyebrow on up if you'd like. Oh, yeah. Let's go. You still got some more room there.
I sometimes wear the do-rags too, but it's
Okay.
nice. But they get real hot in the summertime because you got no
yeah.
ventilation in your head. Like if I
Yeah.
could get a little
Well,
breathing along with the coverage.
What's nice about our head wraps is they're very breathable.
They are.
Yes. Yeah. You'll see as you kind of wear this for a little bit of time.
Let me tell your viewers, by the way, this is not a scripted infomercial. I'm truly excited about this product, and
Yeah.
I was not briefed on how this was going to go.
No.
I'm excited about this product. This is not a canned scripted thing about how I can just do nothing but flatter this stuff. I'm digging this stuff.
Yeah.
This stuff's going to be my rockin' new look.
So I
Heck
always
yeah.
fold it under a
Okay.
little bit on the bottom edge, and that keeps it from slipping up.
Okay.
Because I don't want it to start poofing up this way and like sliding back especially you're not going to be able to push it back down very easily. So I want it to be secure.
Okay.
And because you got it tied right here, it's not going to go up on the back. It's
Oh,
going to
good.
be secure.
Oh, good.
And I think in this instance, I'm even going to fold the front edge down a
Little
little
more.
bit as
Good.
well.
Yeah.
It feels a
Good
little
call.
like it might just
Good call on
because
the
of where
fold.
my
Does it feel good like
It's
sliding?
looking,
it
it's
feels
looking
like it
dope.
might because of my slanted forehead.
No,
You
it
got a
looks
little
good.
slant going.
Yeah, I got kind of a what do you call
So
it?
then in that case, I fold it back a little bit more over the ears so it could go down a little bit more right there.
Nice.
So another thing you could do with these head wraps too is, because if you do prefer to wear a hat, you can have this under a hat, and it's actually still really nice.
Keeps
to
it from sweating.
keep the
in your
sweat
hat.
from getting down your face and everything. Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to check it out though without it, man. I've been a POH for so long now.
Yeah.
Prisoner of hat.
Oh man, this is looking great. It looks really good.
I might.
I'm gonna get over here on the side. How's it feel?
It feels wonderful. Feels real clean and tight and airy, and I feel like I look cool.
Yeah, that's dope.
Is it
Dude.
really?
Hold on, let me
Yeah,
straighten it right
you
here.
look solid.
I'm gonna pull it down a little bit.
Yeah, go
closer to
ahead.
your
Yeah, I don't
eyebrows
mind
'cause
that.
I don't want it to be slipping.
Well, that's kind of an in look too. There's the kind of a little bit right over the eyebrow. I see guys do that with their headbands sometimes,
yeah,
like just
yeah.
like low.
Right.
Is it uncomfortably low? or is
It's
it good?
not. No, it feels
All right.
secure actually.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Dude, that's pretty sick.
It's all right. It's
Yeah,
all
it
right.
looks
Take
sick.
man.
I gotta-
You're not getting the
It's
top
dope.
coverage like you were talking about. So, like you said, you could still wear a hat over it if you want.
How thin am I on top? Are you seeing all
you
the
can
thin?
still. This is still where it's thinning right here, so it's still visible. You're not getting that top coverage for sure.
Yeah.
But
What if I unfold it a little bit? All right,
it
I'll
will.
just
But then
have
I'm
to-
afraid it's gonna slip.
Okay.
Oh, he's going with the backwards hat, huh?
Well, if it was a fitted hat, that would work.
Yeah.
Let's try this. I'm gonna
Yeah, you
do
gotta
this
loosen it up a
underneath.
little bit.
All right.
Oh yeah, now we're talking. No, it looks dope with the wrap under the hat. I like that a lot.
I've seen that look on some of my band members. Dave Gilbert used
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, dude. Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
I do
Yeah.
like it. I do. I like it.
I think that's kicking
I'm
ass,
Dude,
dude.
that's what it is.
Heading over to Little Italy today because they're gonna give me a audition to play in their little downtown foyer area.
Oh, okay.
Is it slipping up? It is.
No, it's not.
No?
I don't know. I
It
don't
feels
feel like it
secure?
is. Yeah. I'm gonna play with it
I
for
mean,
a minute, man. In the
I think it
bathroom.
looks
See-
badass.
Does it?
It's
Yeah.
hard though. Like even when I put one on, I'm still adjusting it.
Of course.
And kind of making it right, but
Yeah. I think Chris, you could straighten the hat out a little bit better. Like maybe even pull it down. Or did you go loose?
You
Oh,
can go.
once
You
you
can make
try
it
it.
looser
Yeah,
if you
go
want, because now
looser.
that we got the thing on it, yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause I think you could bring it down. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I'm liking that.
Yeah, it's all right, man. It's like letting them,
And I know about style, guys. Let me tell you. Just kidding. I don't.
Sunset
I
J.
don't
Yeah, of
know.
course you do. You guys have a style company, for God's sake. You must have some style. What do you think?
Yeah, a little bit.
dude,
Yeah,
it's pretty
yeah,
badass.
poquito.
I dig it.
Idea?
Yeah, man. I do.
Well, let me just say for the viewers, I have begun yet to experiment with the different looks that I could have.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
No, it looks dope. Can you turn your head that way just so I can get a little side shot? Yeah. And then slowly bring it back. Oh, yeah. I mean, look at that. There it is. No,
call
but
this a storm?
the
No,
head
you're
wrap
wrong.
will really, with the hat like that, it's really, and especially I'm sure when you're playing, I'm sure you sweat a little bit
do,
too and
a
stuff.
lot.
So that will help a lot. And it's very breathable. It's a whisking kind of material.
I can't believe it's not
Wicking.
butter.
Yeah, wicking.
Dude, thanks for letting me get in the hair there, man.
Yeah.
I actually have not done that before.
No?
Digging
No,
in.
but,
First time you styled somebody?
Yeah. I mean, maybe my
Styled another
sister or but first time styling another bro. Appreciate you letting me get in there. That was really quite fun.
I
And,
can see, I can feel that my hair looks fairly neat probably with this on.
Yeah.
I don't look
it does.
shaggy,
It
but-
does. It
Yeah.
does not look shaggy. Hang on, one last pass on the tail at the end. With the comb.
All right, sorry about my drink in the way
That's
Just
here.
got to
good.
do the tail. El Rubio's real good on the details. So
Well, Rubio's a detail guy.
yeah,
Spelling,
detail guy,
you know.
especially with the spelling.
When I first met him, we were discussing my hair needs pretty quick into the initial meeting. We were
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about my
yeah,
hair needs.
straight
And you seem
into
to
it.
understand the details of
Okay.
the little wispy ends that get
Yeah,
out, all that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
That's the stuff we hate.
Yeah.
Dude, that is
yeah.
kick ass,
Are you
man.
happy
Yeah,
with it?
Yeah.
I'm stoked too. Looks
Am I in the
good.
club now? Can I join your club?
Dude, you've been in weeks ago.
You were in
years
long
ago.
before we were. You were in it
Yeah.
way before we were in it.
That's the thing too. Like I'd just like to say, since you bring that up, it's like the long hairs. This concept of what it is to be a guy with long hair has been around far, 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 far before we have constructed this brand and put a logo to it and worked on getting the community together and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's ages. It goes back to the Bible, literally.
Yeah.
Before that.
Yeah,
Before that.
before that.
Interestingly
BC.
enough,
We're
I'm
talking
a
BC.
big fan of Roman history. Okay,
Okay.
right? And there was when they began to let foreigners join the Senate.
Yeah.
The first issue they had were the long-haired Gauls being in the Senate house because the Romans kept their hair short during that era. This is pre-Christ. This is
Long-haired
BC.
Gauls coming
Those
in
long-haired
here.
Gauls in the Senate house, nobody liked it.
Yeah.
Good job, you Gaul.
I think they were in there making some good points with their long hair and everything,
Yeah,
man. We
they
need
were.
to get some sanitation in the Greek quarter. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
Come on.
Have you guys heard of plumbing?
Dude, I'm pumped on this. I think it's
I am
badass.
too.
Yeah.
I haven't even looked at myself yet, but I feel a sense of confidence has been sort of elevated. Not that I
Good.
wasn't already quite
Good.
confident, but
Yeah.
I'm feeling like I could maybe go meet somebody's grandmother
Yeah, totally.
and keep my cool at the same time.
Nice. Heck yeah. Well,
Dude, can
are,
we?
what?
Would you be willing to play a song for us?
I
Yeah.
would absolutely. be
Let's
willing
close
to
it out
play
with a song. You down
Okay,
for that?
sure.
Okay.
I hate
I'll just mess with the camera. If you want to get set up, Chris, you want to help?
Can I use
if-
the bathroom? Can we? I know
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have a
yeah,
pause. Can you
absolutely.
pause?
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
Just real quick. Yeah.
Yeah. Go. Yeah. You hit the bathroom. Actually, we're not gonna pause. We're gonna keep it going.
We'll just
me and
edit it
you-
out. We'll
Oh,
chat and.
Sorry.
Me and you just need to be chatting.
Well, I figure I gotta get my guitar out anyway, and if you guys are gonna hear it, I might have to put the mic on the floor, maybe.
Yeah, that's fine. That's totally good. Whatever we need to do for the setup.
Just some bros ripping up some seltzers over here, doing each other's hair.
That's
We're
cool.
just
I
doing
wanna
it
see
up,
myself
baby.
Anyway, man. I wore the black and white, the polka dot. What's that one called? I wore that one to the show the other night.
Oh, that door's a little stuck. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Nice.
And it was covering me like I wanted it to, but then it started to come up a little bit, and I just didn't have time to fix
Oh,
it.
okay. Yeah. No worries.
Killer.
Well, yeah, man, this is awesome. Guys, Mark's special guy. I don't know what else to say other than that. I mean, there's so many more stories we could dig into, the travel and just how music has really taken them all over the country and the world is really awesome, and all the great work with the disability organizations and stuff. I mean,
Yep.
it's just fantastic.
Gus just keeps diving in for another seltzer here and there.
Yeah.
Just to speak on the experience there, that was the first time I've done another man's hair, and initially, even El Rubio, you're kind of like, is it going to be uncomfortable with your fingers up in some other guy's hair and stuff? And not only was that really comfortable, you kind of try to strike a balance between being accommodating, but also treating folks with disabilities just like they want to be treated just like everybody else. In our experience of our friends who have differences. But I really enjoyed a chance, he wants to look badass, just like everybody else. We all want to look cool. We want
Yeah.
our hair to look good.
Yeah.
And it's hard for him to brush or comb it, or even, like he said, he could get one foot back there, but he can't get both feet to actually tie a ponytail. And I hope he likes the way it looks, but I thought it looked pretty freaking
I think
badass,
it- yeah.
dude. And that was a really fun experience. And hopefully, I hope he does walk out of here confident in
Yeah,
his hair.
Totally. I think it looks good. I like the hat with the wrap underneath. Little unique swag there. Going to Little Italy after this. Come on. No one's rocking the GI Snow.
Balling it up in Little Italy.
Yeah.
Dope
It's
city.
great. It's great. So,
We're going to invite everyone out to the San Diego
Yeah, that's
Music
what I was
Hall of
gonna say.
Fame. Obviously, this podcast will be recorded, and in a couple of days, that event is going to be over, at which point this will be irrelevant. But if you are one of the first listeners when this first drops, it is this Friday, October 18th, 2019, in Ocean Beach at the New Break Church. We would love to have you come out if you are in or close to San Diego. Mark is going to be playing. We're going to have Jefferson J. We're going to have bunch of long hairs, bunch of bros, bunch of live music, inducting some extremely talented musicians into the San Diego Music Hall of Fame. And I'm pumped to be there. And
yeah. Well, what's even great about just talking about it here on this podcast and hearing from Mark and everything is, yes, if you're here by Friday, fantastic, but you're going to have next year too. This thing is not going to stop. This is a tradition that Jefferson's going to keep going year in, year out. So you can Google it. And if you can't make it this year, we really hope you can make it the following year or within the next 10 years because it's going to be happening.
You got 10 years to get involved.
Exactly.
Or longer.
Exactly.
I'm going to do the same thing real quick.
Okay. All right. We got our man, Mark, is coming back into the room here. What'd you think? You saw yourself in the mirror? I mean,
Steven Seagal, who?
So did you like it? I mean, is it your style?
I like the look, man.
Okay.
I feel like I got my long hair still, but I'm kind of presentable. It's not in my face.
Yeah.
You know, I never complain about not having hands, honestly. But when a little tiny hair tickles my nose, I've got my good foot on the steering wheel.
Oh, man. Yeah.
That's pretty much what I'm reducing.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest with you. So having like, I like it. I like the way it looks and I like the way it feels, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm not just the infomercial in here.
No.
I mean, this is cool.
That's
this is a great look.
Good. I know. It looks good. I could tell that it feels good. Like just just having it out of the face, off the sides, getting a little breeze in the neck, right? I mean.
And some style with the headband,
yeah,
you know? It's not...
Totally. You throw the shades on right there? I mean, are you a rock star or what?
Yeah. Somebody else said I was. You never call yourself one. Somebody else told me I was one. I'm going with it.
Okay.
I'm going to get my guitar out.
Yeah,
and,
sure. Do you need any? Yeah, you got it. We got more if you need another one. Gus, can we get a reload over here? Yeah, great.
He brought him in already. No,
yeah.
I'm not even. Okay, sure.
So I'm sure a lot of people want to know, what is your good foot?
Not that one. Sorry. I went to answer. It's all water. It's fixable.
Yeah, it's all good.
On there?
It's
probably gonna outtakes.
No, it's fine.
I'm sorry, buddy. I'm actually right-handed, but I play guitar left-handed or left-footed.
Okay.
I was born just when I started learning guitar, I thought that making chords would be the more difficult aspect. So I decided to use my my good foot to do the chords. So I actually learned like Jimi Hendrix, kind of like left-handed.
Okay.
So I'm gonna
Rad.
get that out.
What was the verdict?
Stoked
on it?
Super stoked.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I like it.
Sick.
I was just telling him, I could go to a job interview or something like that, but still have not sacrificed my identity.
Yeah.
Right.
And I like the stylish look of the headband. You know, it's not. You know what I mean? It's cool.
got a little
We
swag.
know. We know what you mean. That's why we got those things. It's why we have introduced them, as a product, and they've been a staple ever since the first day we put them out there.
Are they? What was your first design?
Hair.
For a headband?
So, of the headband, we
Yeah.
just went black, I believe.
Okay.
We went some solid colors, and we had a few patterns and simple patterns and stuff. But
The Balboa.
we learned our lesson because when we first launched Hair Ties, we did like all these cool designs, but we didn't have any solid colors, 0 solid colors.
Okay.
And everybody was like, "Guys, hair ties for guys are cool, but like, where's black?"
That's
We're
a good
like,
point.
yeah, good point. So the next run we brought black out. So when we brought when we did head wraps, we knew like, yeah, you gotta have black.
Head wraps.
Yeah.
Yep. Head wraps.
Is that what I'm wearing?
Yeah, that's a head wrap. Yeah.
wrap.
Where the headbands are a little bit thinner.
I think I thought of a good song, actually.
Okay, great.
I usually use something like this, but
Yeah, that one's cool.
it is cool.
Well, that's got a little bit more of the top coverage I think that's what you were wearing on Friday night or when we watched you the other day.
Right, but I did find good coverage with the head wrap with the other one I had. I just unfolded it a little bit and it kind of went over the top, so it was almost like a full cover do-rag, but left the crown of my head breathing, so I didn't get so hot.
Yeah.
So,
Legit.
Yeah, I spilled my drink. It was just because it slipped out of my teeth. I was trying
It's just
Oh man,
water.
you're the first one to do that here.
Yeah, I bet I am.
No.
Party foul.
No,
definitely
lots
not.
of spills have happened in here.
That's why you do clear beverages only. Right?
Exactly.
Dude,
just
this
water.
table, like we were so pumped on this table and keeping it like pristine and proud of it and all this stuff, and then like Gus just ruined it in the first month.
Really? I don't think I kept mine off the table. I didn't splatter the table.
No, it's good. Yeah.
This is with a razor blade.
The razor blade.
Razor
Cutting
blade?
things on the table with nothing
Yeah.
underneath
Oh.
it.
Where'd you get the table? Is it like expensive or is it just
We got it from Father Joe's.
okay?
You know, and yeah, it actually, this table buying it new. So this is a German table. It's like, so it's really crazy designed. There's the extension is built in underneath. So you pull these sides out and then they fold like right out. This table weighs a ton and super thick, nice wood. Getting it into this space was Gus almost died. Like literally, like he was collapsing. We thank God we made it with 0 injuries. But you know,
seamless extensions. They're at the end.
yeah.
Instead of in the middle.
Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah. So it's super cool. But this table has a nice story. I did look up the retail price for this to buy it new was like $6,000.
Oh yeah.
We got it for like $300 or something.
Wow.
And then
Weighs like 500 pounds.
Gus
Not quite.
immediately proceeded to
probably
slice the super expensive wood with the razor blade.
What was he doing? Like chopping
It was when we were opening the hair for the great cut.
Oh.
Well, honestly, it's kind of our fault. I mean, no one thought of it. We were just in here trying to bust the hair out. So whatever.
Hey, anyone could have done it. When I was about 14, I was cutting the sleeves off a T-shirt or something, and my Super Nintendo cord was underneath and just sliced right through it. And I almost started crying, dude, because I was like, "Oh my god, I can never replace that." It was just toast.
Toasted it.
Okay, so we need to reestablish our mics here real quick. We're gonna keep recording. Everybody, just hang on here for a sec.
A little bit of,
We're gonna
So I'm good with this room here. Back up a little bit.
Yeah, you have enough room?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so-
Okay, so let me bring your mic down.
I'll let you do that. Yeah. No, sorry.
Kick it over here. All right, cool. Yep. So bring this guy. Can you just guide my slack in over here? Okay, great. And we want it as close as we can here, right?
I guess, yeah. Have you done much mic and guitars in
No, never.
Never.
You're actually, well, no, Jefferson played in here too, but you and Jefferson are the. I think that.
RalphQuasar.com.
I'll get my vocals too. What if I point it up just a little bit?
Well, actually, no. I'll bring my mic over. Here, yeah, let's use this one. Okay. Yeah, we're getting some action.
Nice.
This will get your vocals here. Okay. Let me. Here.
Hey.
Yeah. Why don't you hold on one sec? Oh. Oh yeah. That sounded great. Okay. And El Rubio, why don't you
El Rubio.
let me let's just do this
It's
one
deadly.
second.
It's deadly to engage El Rubio. A deadly endeavor. I like that.
Dude.
Antonio Banderas. Yeah, I grew up here.
El Rubio, why don't you come over here on this side and give me 1 sec. We are got to get our camera's back on. Okay, cool. Just threw in a new battery so we don't run out. And you don't have a ton. Hold on. Wait a second. Okay. So you can look through there, but yeah, a little Nirvana. And yeah, why don't you just work the camera there, El Rubio? All right, we are let's just test your vocals here.
Test. Can't lean in too much and play.
Yeah. I'm gonna turn up that mic max. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, excellent. Oh yeah.
Why do guys always want to try to play? Guys always want to play heavy metal on their acoustic guitars. Like if these guys go, "Oh, you play Metallica," I'm like, dude. Kumbaya, kumbaya. No, I do have I think an appropriate song.
Yeah,
it's not one of my originals. It's a Charlie Daniels song, but
okay.
People say I'm a no good, crazy as a loon. I get drunk in the morning and get stoned in the afternoon. I kinda like my old blue tick dog and wanna lay around in the shade. I don't got much money, but I damn sure got it made, and I ain't asking nobody for nothing. I can't get it all on my own. Yeah. And if you don't like the way I'm living, just leave this long-haired country boy alone. Preacher man talking on the TV, he's putting down rock and roll. Wants me to send a donation, said he's worried about my soul. Jesus walked on the water, and I do believe that's true. But sometimes I think that old preacher man could try to do a little walking too, 'cause I ain't asking nobody for nothing. I can't get it all on my own. Yeah. And if you don't like the way I'm living, just leave this long-haired SoCal boy alone. Here's the way it really goes. You know, the rich boy goes to college and the poor boy goes to work. Poor girl wants to marry and the rich girl wanna flirt. The drunkard wants another drink of wine and the politician wants your vote. I don't want much of nothing at all, but I might take another token. I ain't asking nobody for nothing. I can't get it all on my own. If you don't like the way I'm living, just leave this long-haired country boy alone. Something like that.
Yeah.
That's Charlie Daniels band right there.
So sick.
Badass.
Thanks, yeah, that was fun.
Loved it. Love it.
I mean, you know, we could get really 80s. Yeah, fun, man. I had a great time here, guys. I'm pretty stoked about my new possibilities and my look too. I'm ready. I was ready for a new look.
Dude,
I don't have to get rid of the hair to get a new look. Like I can keep my hair and have a new look too.
Yeah.
I'm really seriously excited about that. Yeah.
And you know what too is just working with what you got. You know, I mean, there's a lot of options you have with using accessories, so you don't have to cut it for a while.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if I ever do, if I do cut it, because I have fought long and hard for it. I
Yeah.
want it to mean something. I want to give it to whatever to your charity. That you
Awesome.
support. I really would.
Dude, we appreciate that. Absolutely.
And I get some pretty good curls, man.
Yeah.
I imagine a little Shirley Temple would probably want my hair.
Yeah. Well, do you want to play one more or?
I'm happy to.
Okay, I think it would be rad to get one more.
Absolutely.
Let's do the same thing we just had going because that was really good.
Well, sound wise was all right.
Sound wise is great. Yeah. And yeah,
I think
Chris,
it's
work that
right song
camera
here.
again. Oh yeah. You'll have to hit record. Don't. I did. Huh? I did. No. Is that just hit? Turn it off.
It was on the whole time last time.
It's fine. Just leave it.
Sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner. Sometimes I feel like my Such a Chili Peppers chord right there. Well, I drive on the streets 'cause she's my companion. I walk through the hills 'cause she knows who I am. She sees my good deeds and she kisses the wind. Yeah. Well, I never worry, now that is a lie. I don't ever wanna feel like I did that day. Take me to the place of love. Take me all the way. I don't ever wanna feel like I did that day. Take me to the place of love. Take me all the way. Yeah.
Woo.
It's hard to believe that there's nobody out there. It's hard to believe that I'm all alone. At least I have heard of my city, she loves me. Lonely as I am, together we cry.
Yeah. Dude, awesome. Awesome, man. Well, hey, we really appreciate you blessing us with the sounds. And it's a real pleasure, man, to hear you play.
Thanks for having me over, and I'm all in. I'm
yeah.
part of the. I want to be part of the tribe now.
Heck yeah.
I do.
Well, guys, I think we could close this out, huh?
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Goffeney.
Mark Goffeney. Thank you so much, Mark.
Del Gordo.
We'll see you Friday at the San Diego Music Hall of Fame.
That's right.
See ya.
All right.